The next day, while they were on their way and nearing the city, Peter went up to the roof terrace to pray at about noontime, the sixth hour. He was hungry and wished to eat. And while they were making preparations, he fell into a trance. He saw heaven open and something resembling a large sheet coming down, lowered to the ground by its four corners. In it were all the earth's four-legged animals and reptiles and the birds of the sky. A voice said to him, "Get up, Peter, slaughter and eat." But Peter said, "Certainly not, Sir Kyrios." Kyrios, another time na ginamit, Peter naman, meaning Lord, "for never have I eaten anything profane and unclean." The voice spoke to him again, a second time, "What God has made clean, you are not to call profane." This happened 3 times, and then the object was taken up to the sky. Si Peter kasi parang ganyan eh, parang brusko, di ba? "Certainly not, sir." Parang balik talaga agad siya. Kaya nga kay Jesus, di ba, nung sinasabi ng Jesus na, "Samahan niyo ako, ganun ganito." "Ay, pagtatanggol ka po namin." O, pero natulog siya. Anyway, "For never have I eaten anything profane and unclean." Which is tama naman. Talagang ayaw niya kasi maano siya sa, sa tradisyon at sa command. Ayaw niya talagang sirain. At pag-address ni Peter ng Lord, ganun din si Cornelius, alam nila na they are having encounter with the divine. Hindi basta tao, hindi basta panaginip lang yun eh. Talagang yun is God's work. And why is Peter shocked by the Lord's command to eat from the selection of all kinds of animals? Makikita rin natin yan sa Leviticus at sa Ezekiel. Ito po ang sagot dyan. Kaya shock na shock si Peter. Kasi yung mga animals na pinipresent sa kanya in the vision were both clean and unclean. Dito nga po, makikita natin na ang nakita ni Peter sa kanyang vision, no, na bumaba mula sa langit ang isang balutan na kung saan may iba't ibang uri ng mga hayop. Ito, makikita niyo dyan. Yang mga itinuturing na malinis at pwedeng kainin, kasama ang mga ipinagbabawal na mga hayop na kainin. Kasi sa kanilang paniniwala, pag nagsama ang malinis sa marumi, marumi na yan lahat. Hindi yung pag nagsama ang malinis at marumi, malinis na hindi. Pero sa Diyos, walang imposible. Ginawa niya yung lilinisin ang hindi malinis. Malaki ang takot ni Peter sa ritual purity law. Ito ay batas nila na sinabi ko nga hindi dapat kainin ang mga pagkain sinasabing unclean at pakikisalamuha sa mga makasalanan dahil magiging marumi sila. Ang mga hintil daw ay marumi dahil sila daw ay makasalanan. Makikita natin sa vision ni Peter ang mga hayop sama-sama, both clean and unclean. Dapat nating alalahanin na pinalinis na ng Diyos ang mga hayop na ipinagbabawal, kaya hindi makasasama, no, sila. Kaya pinagsama-sama na sila. At hindi na dapat matakot si Peter na magkasala siya kapag nakihalibilo at nakitungo siya sa bahay ng mga hintil. No? At magtungo siya sa bahay ng hintil. Sabi nga, may mga pagkain talaga silang ipinagbabawal. No? Iba dyan ay yung mga sheep, yung camel, badger, pig, yan po ang pinagbabawal sa kanila. At ang hindi naman pinagbabawal, sheep, cattle, mga kosher foods po ang sinasabi nila. Blessed. Tignan po natin ang karakter ng Israelites at Gentiles. Dito po, makikita natin na ang God's covenant people, no, ayan ang mga Israelites, ay kailangan maging holy as God is holy. Ang Gentiles naman po, sinasabing sinners. So, malaking contrast, holy, sinner. No? At ang ritual purity, ito po ang nakapagpapahiwalay, no, from the profane observed from foods. Some animals were clean, permitted to be eaten. Some foods unclean were forbidden. Forbidden to enter house of Gentiles. Naku, ito po talaga hindi sila pwede pumunta. It's a no, no, no. Hindi sila pwede makipagsalamuha sa mga Gentiles. At ang ritual defilement o pagdadamay. Kasi yung ritual na to, kapag dumikit ka sa patay, sabi nila, magiging marumi ka na rin. Ang misna, ito po yung oral tradition ng mga Hudyo, kung saan napapaloob ang uhalot, yung rule sa uhalot. Uhalot, ito po ang tawag nila sa tent of the dead. Actually, tent lang ang term, pero hindi po. Lahat po ng ginamit sa patay, yung mga tela, yung mga, kung ano man yung ginamit nila sa patay, lamesa, yung mga ano dyan, yan po ay marumi, kaya hindi sila pwedeng umano. At ang misna, yung oral tradition na to, it is a literary form po ito, ay nasa unahan ng Torah. At ang knowledge of the Jewish ritual purity, ito po yung batas associated with entering a Gentile's house, is the reason, no, the Roman centurion said to Jesus, Lord, I'm not worthy to have you come under my roof. Yan po ay nasa Matthew 8. Kaya nga, ito ang reklamo ng mga Pharisees kay Jesus. Bakit siya nakikisalamuha sa mga maruruming tao, mga makasalanan na tao. Acts 10:15-16. The voice spoke to him again a second time. What God has made clean, you are not to call profane. This happened 3 times and then the object was taken up. Ano ba ang significance nito? Ang batas ng mga Hudyo na nakakapaghiwalay sila sa mga Hintil ay hindi na masusunod o hindi na ito balido sa panahon ng bagong tipan. Kung hindi ito ipagwawalang bisa, ang mga apostoles at disipulos ni Jesus ay hindi makalalapit o makapupunta sa mga bahay ng Hintil o makasalo sila sa pagkain. Ang vision ni Peter ay ang paghahanda sa kanya na tanggapin ang paanyaya at kabutihang loob ni Cornelius. So, wala nang takot kasi alam na ni Peter na ito ay gawa ng Diyos. The repetition of trees, no, masasabi natin na ito ay makikita dito sa 3 men sent by Cornelius and the 3-time repetition of the command to Peter. This should not be taken for granted. Why? Kasi importante ang 3 sa kanila. In scripture, this is a number that symbolizes something important. Kaya may importansya talaga yon dahil alam natin na that is God's divine plan for man's salvation. So, paggamit ng repetition na yan, kay command ni ng Diyos kay Peter ay dapat maganap. It is therefore evident na yung vision ni Cornelius and Peter and the baptism of Cornelius and the Gentiles are part of God's plan. Kayo po ba? Nalaman nyo na pa na ang ginagawa nyo ay part of God's plan? Acts 10:17-23. While Peter was in doubt about the meaning of the vision he had seen, the men sent by Cornelius asked for Simon's house and arrived at the entrance. They called out inquiring whether Simon, who is called Peter, was staying there. Peter was pondering the vision. The Spirit said to him, There are 3 men here looking for you. So get up, go downstairs, and accompany them without hesitation, because I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men and said, I am the one you are looking for. What is the reason for you being here? They answered, Cornelius, a centurion, an upright and God-fearing man, respected by the whole Jewish nation, was directed by a holy angel to summon you to his house and to hear what you have to say. So he invited them in and showed them hospitality. The next day he got up and went with them, and some of the brothers from Joppa went with him. Sinasabi po natin na na-prepare na si Peter, no, sa pagtanggap, because yung vision niya inihanda na siya para bigyan ng mabuting pagtanggap o hospitality ang mga sugo ni Cornelius. Kung hindi na ihanda si Peter sa kanitong pagkikita, ang sasabihin niya dito sa 3 sugo bilang mga hintil sila, di ba? At yung isa pala dito, itong isang to, ito ay God-fearing person din, no? Siya ang nag-head nitong delegasyon ng 3 to. Sasabihin niya, doon po sa ibaba ng kalye na to, meron po diyang lodge o lodging inn, no? At diyan na po kayo magpalipas ng gabi, matulog na po kayo. Wow, ang hirap din, di ba? Na you go against the tradition. Pero ito po hindi eh. Si Peter nag-go against the tradition by saying, dito na kayo dumito, at ayan, no, tinatawag niya, dito na kayo matulog. Perhaps pinakain niya sa umaga, ganun din, at sabay na silang pumunta. Walang sinaway na tradisyon si Peter. Pinuno ng Diyos ng pagmamahal at pangunawa, no, ang pangunawa ang kanyang puso. Nasunod ang kagustuhan ng Diyos. Oo, nag-defy nga siya ng law ng tao, pero sa law ng Diyos, yun ang kanyang sinunod. At maging tanglaw sa mga kapwa-tao niya na hindi pa nakakakilala ng tunay na Diyos. So, God wants us to be the light to other people. Yun naman po ang ginawa ni Peter. Acts 10:23. So, I invited them in and showed them hospitality. Yun nga po, di ba? At sinasabi nga, nakasama siya nakasama pa niya ang 6 na brothers, no, from Joppa na sumama sa kanya. No? That though the Old Testament said God's people were not to become like their pagan neighbors, hindi niya rin to sinunod dahil nangimbababaw sa kanya ang pagsunod sa sinabi ng Diyos na tayo ngayon na Kristiyano should become a light to our neighbors na hindi pa fully nakakaintindi kung sino ang tunay na Diyos. Ito nga po. Acts 10:24-33, Peter's meeting with Cornelius. On the following day, he entered Caesarea. Cornelius was expecting them and had called together his relatives and close friends. When Peter entered, Cornelius met him and falling at his feet, paid him homage. Peter, however, raised him up, saying, "Get up, I myself am also a human being." So, pagkakita ni Cornelius kay Peter, lumuhod siya. Paggalang, baga. Sabi naman ni Peter, tumindig ka, kasi pareho lang naman tayong human being. While he conversed with him, he went in and found many people gathered together and said to them, "You know that it is unlawful for a Jewish man to associate with or visit a Gentile, but God has shown me that I should not call any person profane or unclean. And that is why I came without objection when sent for. May I ask then, why you summoned me?" Cornelius replied, 4 days ago at this hour, from the 4th day up to this hour, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the 9th hour, I was at prayer in my house, when suddenly a man in dazzling robes stood before me and said, "Cornelius, your prayer has been heard, and your almsgiving remembered before God. Send therefore to Joppa and summon Simon, who is called Peter. He is guest in the house of Simon, a tanner by the sea." So I sent you immediately, and you were kind enough to come. Now therefore, we are all here in the presence of God to listen to all that you have been commanded by the Lord. Ulit na naman po na sinasabi na itong si Simon a tanner. Kasi po, kaya pina-emphasize ditong Simon a tanner. Hindi ba ang nagtatan, humahawak sa sa patay, sa carcasses? No yan. Pero bakit dito? Kasama na siya ni Peter. Because naging, na siya, believer. So, wala na ito. Wala na itong kinakakatakutan niya. No? Hindi siya dudumi. Okay? Cornelius is filled with gratitude, no? That Peter has consented to come and speak to those who are assembled. Pagkakita nga ni Peter, di ba, lumuhod siya, nagpakita rin po yun ng kanyang humility. Pinakita ni Peter ang kanyang kababaang loob, pagsunod sa pangaral ni Jesus sa mga apostoles na nasa Juan 13, no, verses 12 to 17, kung saan hinugasan ni Jesus ang paa ng mga apostoles as an example of his humility as servant, Lord, or leader. Sinabi niya nga, alam niyo ba kung bakit ko ginagawa ito? Ginagawa ko ito upang inyong pamarisan. Kayo din ay maging humble enough to wash each other's feet. So yun ang ehemplo at sinunod nga ni Peter. The impact of the two visions, no? What does he understand concerning ritual cleansing and the Gentiles? Makikita po ito sa verses 28 to 29. No, Christ died that all sinners might be cleansed and made whole spiritually. Christ can purify the hurts of the Gentiles, no? Pinabubusilak ni Kristo ang puso ng mga tao at itong mga Gentiles nga, no, even if their bodies remain uncircumcised. Ang immediate conclusion nga is that Peter must not fear contact with the uncircumcised.